You're listening to Ants Talk.
My next guest is one of the cast from the Netflix sensation Tiger King, which has turned the cast into household names. John Finlay was not only a worker at the zoo, but also in an 11-year relationship with Joe Exotic, who the series focuses on. There is worldwide interest in the cast, and I wanted to get to know John a little more. Let's speak to him now. Welcome to the show, John. How are you?
I'm pretty good. And how about you?
I'm very well, thank you. I've just woken up here in Australia, so excuse me if I'm a little fuzzy. So, John, how did you start working at the animal park?
I was a month out of high school and I needed a job, and I always wanted to work with animals. So that was the first place I went, and that was the first place that called me back. So that's just where I went.
What an amazing start to a career, though. Had you
Yeah, long
encountered
career.
anyone? Thank you. Had you encountered anyone like Joe before?
No, that was definitely a different type of person.
Yeah. He seems very unique.
Oh, very.
I bet. And do you think the producers wanted to portray you in a certain way, or do you think that it was fair the way that they did portray you?
I didn't exactly know how they wanted to portray me, but the shirt off was just kind of a weird thing. I didn't know if I was the only one doing it or what exactly was going on. It was just a way for me to get my story out and kind of get a lot of pent up anger and rage out. It's just, I saw it as a way for therapy for me.
Mm. I think a good thing too is that even now that you've done it, people are hearing your story because you're getting sort of the attention to be able to tell it, which is a really good thing.
Yeah, it's been a whole lot better. I mean, I rather just plain out tell my story than try and hide anything, because when you hide it, it tends to do a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better to live positive than it is negative, because when I lived in the negative, it kind of drug me down like really bad. So I was in a bad place, and I was like, and this is not me. So
Yeah. It seems that the staff were working at the zoo for more than passion. It was actually nothing really to do with the profit. They were really passionate about working there. Do you think that they were unfairly treated or compensated for their work?
most of them were fairly treated. Joe did a lot for a lot of the people, and I wouldn't necessarily say that they did him wrong or they did each other wrong. It's just the way that Joe talked to the employees and stuff. It really downgraded us a lot and made us not want to be there.
Mm.
And that was just the way Joe was. He was one that always thought of himself better, but I made quite a few relationships with the people there, and I never really beat anybody down. It was just, hey, y'all need to do it this way or y'all need to do it that way. We weren't trying to be isolated from each other. It was, we were trying to do this all as a team, and Joe didn't quite see it that way.
I mean, it was such a unique sort of way to work, I suppose. Did a lot of people, because a lot of people lived, was it on the park or nearby?
Most of everybody lived on the park.
Right. Yeah, that would be quite
Yeah,
uncomfortable at a lot of times.
it was like being trapped in a cage 24/7.
Yeah. So how long were you there at the park, like all up?
I was there 15 years.
Wow. That's a really long time to be stuck in that situation. Very long time.
Yeah, and that was my life for 15 years. Well, not quite 15 years. 11 years of it was with Joe, and the rest of it was when I was with my baby's mama.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I originally saw the interview with Joe and Louis Theroux, who seemed to almost mock Joe during the interview. Did you have the chance to meet him?
I met Lewis, and he's a pretty nice guy. I mean, it's just I think Joe kind of rubbed him the wrong way at times, and that's why Joe was the way he was. But Joe is also a showman, so he's going to do what he does because that's him.
Yeah, because he was doing the magician act. He was a singer.
Yeah. And he wasn't actually singing the songs, but, you always think of a magician as doing it by himself, but Joe always had assistants doing it, and the ones that were actually making the magic happen were the assistants, and I was also one of those assistants too. So,
yeah. Are you having fun with the attention, or do you prefer being introverted?
I wasn't much of a people person until this, and I've actually become pretty comfortable with talking to people now.
That's good.
It's been between the two managers. They've been working with me on how to talk and all that different stuff, but I've just become who I am because that's how I want to be. I'm not going to really change too much. It's just, I'm going to be me.
Well, I mean, I've got to let you know that a lot of people here in Australia know exactly who you are now. So if you ever want to come down under, I'm sure you'll be welcomed.
That could be turned so bad, but we do actually want to come down under, and I want to go to the Australian Zoo, and I want to tour Australia and really know what it's like to be down there, because I've always dreamed of visiting Australia. It's probably one of the greatest places, I think, on this earth.
It really is. You'd love it because the unique thing about it is each state that you go to, there's something completely unique about it. And the wildlife differs in every state also. It's absolutely quite incredible.
Yeah, I just have to be careful bringing my mom down there because her name is Sheila. So, I mean, she wouldn't know whether you're talking about that lady or her or what. So I was like, I had to be really careful taking you down there.
That's actually funny because my ex-boss was called Sheila also. She was cool. I loved her, actually. Hey, what is it like working with such wild animals? Do you think that they resent being held captive? And I mean, not just in the situation of the zoo you were in, but in any case.
That's a hard question to answer because, we took care of them so well that we formed relationships with them, and we got to know exactly what their mentality was, or their dislikes and their likes and stuff. We kind of made it feel as much as home as we could. It may not exactly look like their habitat, but we tried to make them feel like they're part of a family.
Yeah. What was it like when the first time you actually faced one, like faced the tiger?
The first one I wasn't actually scared. It was more, I was overexcited.
Yeah.
And the first one I come into contact with, his name was Clint Black, and he was like 3 years old. I mean, he's full grown. And when we were in Dodge City, Kansas, it was the first time I'd ever really been around a cat that size. And we spent 5 days at the mall, and we just had him on display. And at that time, we were able to take pictures with him because there were no regulations against it. But to be around him, it was like being around a mythical creature almost, because you don't expect them to be as big and that gentle at times. But
yeah,
we never sedated our animals on the road, nothing. They got bottle. I mean, he would drink from a bottle and be like a big old baby.
I love
And
it.
it was pretty crazy.
I absolutely love tigers. I mean, of any cats, I absolutely love. I'm obsessed with them. And funny enough, at the moment, I've got a humongous Saint Bernard dog, and he's 86 kilos. So I love. I don't know what that is in pounds. Sorry, but it's a lot. Imagine me as a dog, basically.
um, I've got two dogs. I've got what you call a matador. He's a Mastiff and Labrador mix.
Yeah.
And he's 6 months old and like
80 pounds?
70, 80 pounds.
Wow.
He's
I love
huge
them. I
for
love
his
big
size.
animals.
And then my other one is a red heeler, and she's like 3 months and like maybe 15 pounds.
Wow.
Maybe.
It's funny because when we first got this dog, you could literally watch it grow. It was literally in front of your eyes. It was happening so fast that now, I mean, he lays on top of you and it's like, a ton of bricks on top of you. And he loves to do it too. So what is the one thing you would like people to know about tigers? What's the one thing you'd like them to know?
I would say that they make good pets, but there's a lot of laws now that are making it where you can't have pets. But if you spend time with them, they do have different personalities. They're a lot like humans, but there is a point where they do have a wild side and they do have a domesticated side. But there's a lot that goes into take care of them. There's a lot with the vet bills. There's a lot with the food. It's about like owning a dog, but this one grows up to kill you and possibly hurt you. But
but I think they're very similar to just cats, because I mean, I've owned a lot of cats myself, and they can be beautiful and loving and part of your family, but then they can also turn on you and scratch you and bite your legs and stuff as you walk past. I mean, so I sort of see them in the same light, except one's bigger, heavier, and a lot more ferocious.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're just like a house cat, but they're 600 to 1,200 pounds.
Yeah, with a lot bigger
that's
teeth.
the biggest difference.
Yeah. So when did the time at the park end for you?
I don't know the exact month, but it was in 2018 is when I.
Oh, so not too long ago.
Yeah.
Right. Did you miss the animals after?
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of those animals I raised personally, and a lot of those animals I really got to know, and some of my animals I couldn't take with me. I mean, I couldn't take the alligators or the tigers or anything, but it's the one thing that you miss the most of everything that you have at a zoo is the animals.
Yeah, I bet.
This is Ants Talk.
Can we chat about your addiction? When did drug use start for you?
I was 21, I think is what we said the other day. I was 21 when that started happening.
Yeah. And
I
know
that went on for 8 years.
Wow. And I know you've been now clean for 6 years and would love to work with youth teaching them about addiction. What would be the one thing you would tell them?
If anybody ever says, hey, you want to try this? They need to turn and walk the other direction. Don't even think about it. It leads you down a dark road.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that dark road leads to death or the separation of your loved ones, the missing out on times that you want to be a part of. And I mean, sometimes it has a good memory, but there's always a darker path down that road.
Yeah. What was your drug of choice, or what was the one you started with? Because you know how a lot of people say, "Oh, don't try marijuana; it's a gateway drug," and stuff like that. What's your opinion around all that?
Well, my choice of drug was meth, and there were some other ones involved, but it was mainly meth, and that is not a great drug to do, because after a while of doing it, I was starting to hear voices.
Wow.
I was seeing things that weren't there. I was having issues with controlling my anger and stuff, and it just, there's things that you do when you're on it that you really regret, and you look back and you're like, that was not me.
Yeah.
And that's where I was 6 years ago, and ever since then I've never looked back. I looked straight forward. So
that's amazing. Good on you. Because I think it takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength to be able to do it. You know, it really does. You should be proud of it.
It does, and I was one to do it by myself, and so I didn't really have all the help of professionals or anything else. So it's a little bit harder doing it by yourself, but once you set your mind to it, it's easier to do.
That's so amazing. Good on you. I also know you've now been engaged to Stormy. How long ago did you guys meet?
We met, our 1-year anniversary is May 10th. So
this Sunday is a year since we met.
Wow.
Well, this Sunday is a year since we met. My bad.
I'm sure you've got the gift ready. Oops.
I'll have a gift ready, but she may not know exactly what I'm going to give. So it'll be something that she didn't think of.
I love it. Now, I know you identify as straight. Would you say there are any huge differences in relationships in either sex?
There is no difference in the dynamic at all. I mean, each couple's going to have their fights. They're going to have their disagreements. I mean, there's times me and Stormy has disagreements. So it's just one of those things. Every couple is going to have their problem.
Yeah. I know it's funny because we've been in isolation and lockdown here in Australia, and it's so funny because my husband and I we spend so much time together anyway, so we don't really fight. But a lot of people that we know actually start like when I'm talking to them online and stuff, you can see them brawling already, and I'm thinking the divorce rate's going to skyrocket after this.
It's actually made us stronger because, I mean, we have had our spats during this isolation and stuff, but we kiss and make up. I mean, it's not exactly like what everybody thinks it is, but we have our own way of making up to each other, and we actually have made a lot of this work because we're pretty much the same person, and we do everything together. We talk about the problems. Nothing is an individual in this. We both say we're a team in this, so we're going to do this as a team.
Yeah. Communication's really, really important in any relationship, and even more so in this sort of situation that the world's in at the moment.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I wasn't much on communication, and she was, and now it's to the point where we talk about everything because that's the way it should be.
Yeah, exactly. Now, there's been a lot of attention around your new look. What has it done for your self-confidence to get so much attention?
You know, when I got my teeth done, I had a lot of trouble trying to keep them in my mouth, and the process of it it took me a while to be able to really wear them because I had so much infection in my mouth that in the documentary, my face was like swollen too.
Yeah.
And it's made me look different. And since that last part of the documentary came out, people started recognizing me more. And the self-confidence, it's been the same. I mean, she's put more self-confidence in me than anybody else has.
Mm.
But my agent's been putting quite a bit in there, and I really have them to thank why I am the way I am now, because there's no negative influence or anything. It's all the positive that they've been giving me that I've really had more luck with than anything else.
Yeah. So in your local town, are you sort of really well known now?
No, because I don't go out in town. I go away from the town.
And with your teeth, when did it start happening that you were losing your teeth?
I was actually in high school when that started happening, and my mom tried to get it to where my teeth were fine and they were fixed and stuff. And Joe even tried to, and actually as a result of why my mouth looked like that is they were porcelain crowns, and they were putting fiberglass rods in there, and they were putting actual metal rods in my mouth after they did the root canal. And I kept breaking them off. I guess I had that much power in my mouth. When I would bite something, I'd break one, or I even tried to bite into a pizza one time and broke a tooth.
Wow. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I mean, I've been through the process myself. I've got one that's a metal peg, which they then attach the tooth to, and luckily it's never broken on me. But I mean, the work behind it is incredible. And if you're scared of dentists, then it's really horrible.
I'm not really one to go to doctors either.
Yeah.
I hate doctors. I hate dentists. I'm old-fashioned that way.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that fear the dentist, where I quite enjoy going because I always think of the benefit after. And I always think, well, my teeth are going to look better. And I was always, because I had pretty crappy teeth myself when I was younger, and I always thought to myself, well, if I go, I'm going to look better. So I always felt really positive about the experience. But a lot of people I know are just like, yeah, nah, I'm not going.
Yeah, I was definitely one of them. And until we talked about wedding, it wasn't really an option for me. But as soon as we started talking about wedding, it was, we're getting my teeth fixed before we even get married. And that week she called, and like the next week or two is when I had the appointment, and they pulled all 25 teeth I had left in my head.
Whoa.
And I spent 6 months really recovering because I had so much infection that it, as I said, it swelled my face up to where you couldn't. And my teeth were uncomfortable so much because the swelling would go down. I'd try and wear them, and then it just, even now I have to have go back and have them fixed because they don't fit right.
It was his idea to get them fixed, just to clarify.
I love it. Well, no, it was a good decision, I think. Good decision. You've got to have some good chompers in your mouth, especially for your wedding pics.
Yeah, I'm not much on pictures either, but apparently now I have to.
Yeah, you do.
No. It's, I mean, I enjoy all this, but it's not really me. But you know, certain things coming around in life, and when the opportunity arises, why not take it?
I agree. Enjoy it while it lasts, you know. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I don't think this ride's over.
Oh, it's not going to be over for a while yet, let me tell you.
No.
Tune in each week for Ants Talk to learn about real-life stories, celebrities, and everything in between.
So, John, what is some of the good things that came from your time at the zoo?
You know, the Animal Miracle Network has to be one of the best things. I mean, I helped people with one of their last things they wanted to do before they died, and it all started because of Alyssa Finlay and her stage 4 brain cancer, and her story had been told worldwide on Inside Edition, and that was the one thing I seen that drew me to her. Is she wanted to pet a baby lion, and that was the one thing I knew that I could take to her and complete her wish. And I got to know her and her family, and they're so amazing. And I still keep in contact with her mom and maybe some of her brothers and sisters, and they still thank me to this day that I got the opportunity to do that. And when I went to her funeral, they weren't actually really all crying because they knew that she was scared to do that, but it made them realize how precious she was.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people get to experience someone that young and so innocent. And she was positive through the whole thing. There was nothing that she looked down on. She never treated anybody in a bad way. She was so friendly and treated everybody so right. And she's probably the one reason why I am the way I am now.
Yeah. That's so good. It's such a great opportunity to be able to do that for somebody. Like, that's really special. So, John, what would you like people to know about you that others don't or have never asked?
Oh, I almost think that everybody knows exactly. I would say almost everybody knows everything now, but yeah, I mean, I would say don't judge people based on their race, their color, their
past.
Yeah, everybody likes to judge about their past. It's
Yeah.
not about the past. It's about what's in front of you. I mean, that a lot of people do that to me still, but I don't judge them because I don't even know them, and I don't really. I'd like to know them, but if I don't get the opportunity, I'm not going to judge them.
Yeah.
And then probably a lot of people like to look down their nose at people, and what does that accomplish? I mean, we're all in this together, no matter what it is, and we have to work together to accomplish whatever in life we are trying to get to.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think another thing too is that you've got a huge heart after the last story you just told us. That's another thing.
Yeah, I even mentioned that in the documentary, and that barely even made it in because it was like a 2-3 second clip. And I have always known that I've had a big heart. I just never acted on it.
Yeah.
And when I was around the animals, it was a totally different story because my heart always went out to them. And a lot of us at the park sacrificed a lot to make sure that they had what they had.
Yeah, definitely. So what's in the future for you, John?
Wedding bells.
Yoo-hoo.
Wedding bells is on the top of the list.
When are you guys looking at doing that?
We're not exactly set on a date yet because
You might have to wait for isolation
coronavirus.
to be over. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, what we may even get married doing a fishing trip. I don't know. It's just one of those things you act when you get the chance. But
yeah.
for what my future holds, I don't exactly know. I mean, when quarantine and stuff is over for us up here, I'm headed straight back to work. And after that, I don't know. I mean, we're working on a lot of things, merchandise and stuff, TV, and I don't know if TV or commercials or reality TV. I don't know what's really in store because that's too far ahead of me.
Yeah. Well, it sounds exciting.
It's going to be exciting.
That's brilliant. Well, John, really, really appreciate you coming and chatting to me. And thank you, Stormy, also. I'll leave you guys to get on with your day. And I really appreciate the chat. I hope that everything is brilliant for your future.
Thank you.
And come and visit us. Come and visit us one day down under.
No, we're going to.
All righty. Thanks so much, John.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Ants Talk. It's like Oprah, but not.